Good morning. How's everyone?
Good.
Good. Remember, no robotic. I've got three items to go over with you today. First one's going to be the aggravated residential robbery that occurred yesterday on South Lexington. We sent out several news releases on that case, so I'm just going to do an overview and then answer any questions you might have. We have an example of some excellent police work done by one of our police officers, Officer Chad Spalding, and I've invited him to come. And we'll talk a little bit about the work that he did and allow you to answer any questions that you may have. And then just talk a little bit about the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor today as well. First case is going to be case number 16C84832. It's an aggravated residential robbery, again in the 1800 block of South Lexington. Occurred on the 5th at approximately 11:15 p.m. On Monday, December 5th at approximately 11:15 p.m., officers were dispatched to a burglary in progress call at a residence in the 1800 block of South Lexington. Upon arrival, officers made contact with a 31-year-old male. This male reported that two known suspects entered his bedroom, and one suspect was armed with a handgun. The victim stated that he was tied up and that his wallet, his cell phone, and keys were taken from him. The suspects also took electronics and other miscellaneous property from the residence prior to leaving. And the victim stated that his 30-year-old girlfriend and her three children, an 8-year-old male, 7-year-old female, and a 2-year-old male, were forced to leave with the suspects against their will. And that they had left in a black Ford Expedition SUV with a Kansas 60-day tag. With the information that was given to police at the time, an Amber Alert was decided to be issued for the 30-year-old female victim, her three children, two initial suspects, and the black SUV. This information was also provided to our local media and provided on the Wichita Police Department Facebook and Twitter pages, asking for help in the investigation. Two of the suspects were located later at the Travel Lodge Hotel in the 5800 block of West Kellogg. And later, the 30-year-old female and her three children were also located at this same hotel. The black Ford Expedition was located by patrol officers in the area of Angel and Meridian and recovered. Investigators began working immediately on this case and worked throughout the evening and the next day, which led to the arrest of 5 individuals. The first one is going to be Roque Arellano, Roque-Arellano. He's a white male, 11/18 of 82. He was booked for kidnapping and aggravated robbery. The second person was an Andrew Percy, P-E-A-R-C-Y, a white male, January 30th of 88, and he was booked for kidnapping and aggravated robbery. Third individual was Floyd Luther, a white male, 11/19 of 79. He was booked for kidnapping and aggravated robbery. Spencer Myers, S-P-E-N-S-E-R-M-Y-E-R-S, a white male, 4/24/98, was booked for aggravated robbery and kidnapping. And then Jennifer Dela Cruz, and the last name is D-E-L-A-C-R-U-Z, white female, 9/28 of 84. She was booked for kidnapping and aggravated robbery. A majority of the property that was taken from the home on South Lexington was recovered. This investigation was concluded that it was not a random event. It was a very complex investigation, and we truly appreciate all the help from the community and the media in helping identify and locating the parties involved.
Charlie, do we know which two suspects went inside the house, and did they go through the bedroom window?
I don't know their means of entry other than they entered the bedroom. I know two of the suspects they were at least acquainted. The suspects were acquaintances of these individuals. So I don't necessarily know how they entered the home or entered the bedroom, but they did enter that bedroom.
So we don't know if it was forced entry or not, or,
Right. I don't have that information, but they were acquaintances to the victims,
is
the
this a little,
suspect.
because we've heard that two of the people were possible roommates at one point, so did they possibly have a key? And just
Possibly, it was indicated that two of the suspects had been living at the residence or had stayed at the residence.
Can you tell us which two suspects went inside the home?
I don't know which ones went in, or if not all of them, I don't know.
Charlie, could you read off the first suspect and spell his name again?
Yeah, its first name is Roque, Arellano, Arellano, white male, 11/18 of 82.
And can you read off the fourth suspect's information?
Can I what?
Spencer? What's his?
Myers? Yeah.
Myers?
Myers.
4498.
424/98. Yeah.
And the second one?
Second one.
Andrew Percy, Pearcy, white male, 130 of 88.
Do you know what the intentions might have been in taking the female and the 3 kids?
I don't know. I don't know the motivation or the intentions, but the victim had reported that they were forcefully, that the suspects had removed them from the home,
How were they found at the travel lodge?
just through the investigation.
What was Ariano's first name pronunciation?
Roque, possibly? Can you help me with that, Paul?
Huh?
How do you say the first suspect's first name, would you say?
Roque Arellano.
Roque.
Okay.
Roque.
Charlie, where's the investigation now? Is it completed? Where does it?
The investigation will now be taken over and presented to the district attorney's office, and then the district attorney will, it's presented to them for charging.
The children, I saw the mom come home yesterday, and the children were with her.
Mm-hmm. The children are safe and with family.
So they've been released from.
The children are with family and they are safe. The 3 children that we were trying to locate. All right, second case I want to talk about today is just some excellent work done by one of our officers, Officer Chad Spalding. So I'll talk a little bit about the case, and then I've invited him to come, and if you have any questions, he'd be happy to answer those questions for you. On December 5th, Officer Chad Spalding with the Wichita Police Department was on his way to work. While driving, he observed a mobile home that was engulfed in flames in the 2200 block of East MacArthur. Officer Spalding immediately realized the seriousness of the incident and the danger it posed to others, so he contacted 911 so fire personnel could immediately respond. Officer Spalding pulled up to the mobile home and was contacted by a neighbor who advised there were 5 children and their parents who live in the home that was burning. Officer Spalding then ran towards the home and began to pound on doors and windows and was yelling for anyone that happened to be inside. He was able to determine that no one was home at the time of the fire, but was able to contact the family by being home. No one was injured, but unfortunately the family's belongings were destroyed. Officer Spalding learned that the resident had an adopted 8-month-old baby and 4 foster children ranging from the ages 3 to 11 years old. Officer Spalding began diligently working to obtain items for the family and children, and the Wichita Children's Home partnered with the Wichita Police Department and donated items for the children. Officer Spalding then took it upon himself and went to an area Walmart where he purchased more items for the family using his own money. Additionally, Officer Spalding's wife, who was also very concerned for the family, went to Target where she, on her own will, purchased more toys for the children. Officer Spalding then learned that the adopted baby was still only drinking breast milk, and the family's supply of breast milk had been destroyed in the fire. Officer Spalding communicated with another one of his family members who recently had a child in the NICU and was able to obtain a cooler of breast milk and donate that to the family for their adopted baby. This was excellent work done by Officer Chad Spalding of going beyond the call of duty to provide for a family when they needed it the most. This is also just one example of tremendous police work and relationship building done by our Wichita Police Department officers.
What time did that mobile home fire occur again? Do you remember?
About 4:45
In the morning?
in the afternoon.
You want to come up here, Chad, and they can ask you any questions?
What was the address, Charlie?
I'll let him answer any addresses or questions. You have any questions for him? We've invited Officer Chad Spalding to come and just answer questions about the incident and the good work. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Hi there. So what was going through your head when that first initially happened and you see the fire at this mobile home?
Where are the fire trucks? There weren't any there, and it was obvious that the house was on fire. So I turned around and went to the house and just contacted 911 dispatchers so we could get fire personnel there.
A lot of times officers, first responders, you guys run towards the danger a lot of times, and I think this is a great example of that. You're banging on the door of the house while the fire is happening. And we just want to know your thoughts of, were you focused on if someone was inside or?
Well, my initial concern was, that somebody was inside. When I got there, neighbors immediately told me that there were 5 children that lived at the house, and there was a car in the driveway. So I told dispatch that there was possibly people inside the house and to have fire step it up. I was able to contact somebody that managed the property who had a phone number for the people at that address. We made several phone calls. Dispatch made several phone calls trying to get a hold of family. And we determined that they weren't home. They had actually left to go to a Christmas program at Central Christian Church. They showed up while we were on scene and saw that their house was on fire, and it was obviously a complete loss.
You could have called 911 and still been a good deed. Why take it so much further than you did?
Well, let me just be honest with you and just say this real quick. It's sad that this is newsworthy because I am not the only one that did this. There's members of this department. I'm confident that anybody that I work with and officers at different agencies across the country that would have done the exact same thing. Citizens would have done the exact same thing. It's just the right thing to do. It was obvious that they lost everything. I recently had 3 kids in the foster care system that I took care of, and I know there's always one extra step that has to be taken, and it's difficult when you take that on. So I could relate to what they were going through and decided I would use resources that were available to us to help, and it was just the right thing to do. And there's officers that do extraordinary things for people every day, and we don't ask for recognition. We don't want recognition. It was just the right thing to do, and I don't even really know how you guys found out about it.
Charlie called you a hero. Thoughts about that?
Again, I think I was just doing what anybody would have done. There's no doubt in my mind that any one of you wouldn't have just stopped and helped if you could. It's just what you do.
But you took it even further by helping the family out. You already helped them, and you even did more. I think that's amazing.
Well, thank you. I had the means of doing it at that time, and I just feel that if you can help, you should.
Officer Spalding, can you spell your first last name?
My first name is Chad, C-H-A-D. Last name is Spalding, S-P-A-U-L-D-I-N-G.
And what the address?
It was 2201 East MacArthur, Lot A11.
Do you know where the family is now?
The manager of the mobile home park where they stay had put them up at a hotel in South Wichita. Had provided, I think they paid actually for it for a week, and then when I made contact with the family this last weekend, they were making arrangements to try to get them into another empty mobile home that they had at the same trailer park.
Talk a little, anytime you have something like this, it's terrible, but the fact that it's so close to the holiday, they probably lost some Christmas items, I would imagine. Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I know that neither parent was employed at the time, and so coming up with funds, I know it's difficult. I have children of my own, and I can't imagine what it would be like to not have any financial stability, I guess you would, at this point. And coming into the holidays, they were extremely grateful for everything that they got. They were a very nice family, and you just hate to see kids go without Christmas, you know. And I'm sure it would have been difficult for anybody to have to come up with new toys. I mean, and this is just the beginning. I mean, they still have furniture that they need, appliances, all kinds of things. I mean, we got, you know, the basics, you know, some toys for the kids, toiletries, diapers, things like that. But they still have a lot of rebuilding that they're going to have to do too. And so I intend to help with that as much as I can. I've been in contact with them, found out some more things that they needed, and hopefully we can come up with some more stuff and get them back on their feet.
Do you know if any kind of fund has been set up?
To my knowledge, no. I know that when I was at Walmart managers found out about it from an off-duty officer that was working there, and they donated $50. The Wichita Children's Home stepped up and gave a lot of things, and I think many of their items that they get are donated. So it was a group effort. It wasn't just me. It was there was a lot of people that stepped up to help, and we have a good history of doing that in this community, and I just hope that we can continue to do that for families that are in need.
Something like that does happen. Can you just let Charlie know so that, because I know the public is very giving here in Wichita.
Sure.
To let Charlie know so that we could possibly put that out so people can help.
Sure, sure.
Great job.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's excellent police work by Officer Spalding. I think it's important to note that also Chad did all these things unbeknownst to others. Yeah, he wasn't contacting everybody in his supervision to let him know the work he was doing. He did it on his own free will. I didn't even know. I was notified actually by media asking me, and somebody had notified them of the case, and so we had to begin to do the research. So this was not something that Officer Spalding called me and said, hey, I'd really like to come up to media and talk about this, but this was something that I reached out to him and said, we'd like you to come and just share a little bit about this positive story and the good work that you did in our community, and just an example of all the good work that we do as Wichita police officers here in the city. Last item I want to cover just real quick, today is the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And just today I want to ask everyone to join me in the Wichita Police Department in recognizing and honoring all those who lost their lives at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. We also want to recognize and honor all those who proudly serve our country in the armed forces today. That's all I have.